Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is really big and it's really clever, but is it fun and easy for a gamer to just get into? By now you've seen the ocean of 10 out of 10s that the Tears of the Kingdom reviews have raked in. It's also been called one of the best games of all time. Case closed, right? The video was pointless, let's just pack it in and go play some games. Thanks for watching, we'll see you soon. It just feels a little strange to say that it's a game that deserves full marks, a full recommendation. I mean, out of 108 reviews on Metacritic, I counted 62 reviews that gave it 10 out of 10. While there are many different scoring systems and scales out there, it's pretty well understood that if something gets the maximum score possible, it means that it's an absolute must-play title. In some rare cases, they even found it to be perfect. I saw a line in a Game Reactor Finland review which gave it a 7 out of 10, saying, "It's a great game for fans, but not so much to anyone else. Why do I keep meeting people who just don't gel with this new version of Zelda at all?" Well, it's quite simple, or maybe it isn't. I'm Nick from What's Good, let's take a look. So here's the thing, The Legend of Zelda is one of the biggest franchises on one of the biggest video game platforms of all time. All, of course, performing at the pleasure of Emperor Nintendo. Nintendo, despite having a legal team summoned from hell itself,
looters and pillagers over here, please. Lawyers, you're in that way.
Is a company that prides itself on selling fun, accessible games for all to enjoy. Tears of the Kingdom isn't a traditional video game now, is it? I can't hand this over to someone and tell them to go ahead and have some fun like I could with something like, say, Mario Odyssey. It's complicated and finicky, it requires hours of play to come to terms with all the systems, powers, and possibilities. It asks the player to participate in the creative process, which also means that players might have quite a varied experience. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. It's what the creators wanted to make, and they've done a damn fine job of making exactly that. It all works, it's all very clever, and when you're in the groove, it offers a very special experience. Mostly. A quick side note, I must also make it clear that while I've seen some weak attempts to go after the game's graphics, I have no issues with the visuals at all. Would I like to be playing this game in 4K at 60 FPS on my big TV? Hell yes I would. But I'm still way too tickled by the Switch delivering such incredible experiences on the go that I don't care all that much. Even though I got to check out a Steam Deck for the first time this week, which blows the Switch out of the water in terms of performance. The art departments at Nintendo more than make up for the lack of horsepower in most cases. So, as someone who reviews and plays a ton of games, often back to back, I constantly have to deal with picking up a new game, learning all its controls and mechanics, and then dumping them like a ton of bricks as I move on to the next title. In a year like 2023, I've gone from games like Dead Space Remake to Hi-Fi Rush, Hogwarts Legacy, Atomic Heart, Resident Evil 4, Dead Island 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Advance Wars. You get the point. And despite some games being more similar than others, there's an understanding or modern training to the controls that made each one easy to move to. And then I started playing Tears of the Kingdom. Now let's rewind real quick. In 2022 I knew that Tears of the Kingdom was around the corner, so I finally loaded back into Breath of the Wild to complete the story once and for all. I'd kept Breath of the Wild in my back pocket for when I was out of town or dealing with South Africa's ridiculous planned power cuts, so I was happy to chip away at it over a long time. Problem is, and I knew it back then already, it was just so tough to go back to it each time because the control scheme was unlike anything else out there. Weird button layouts required for things like swapping weapons, targeting, throwing weapons, holding items to drop them into a cooking pot, and more. Compare this with a game like Witcher 3, which I also enjoyed and continue to enjoy chipping away at over time, where the controls make half decent sense, and the screen has handy on-screen icons and prompts to help you get back into the swing of things fairly quickly. Well, I did finally finish Breath of the Wild, and I was really happy that I did. Cut to a year or so later though, and I get Tears of the Kingdom, and well, nothing's really any better in that respect. In fact, it's worse. It's the only game I've played after like playing 10 games in a row where I still constantly find myself pressing the wrong buttons or second guessing a button press. Now, are they the worst controls of all time? I honestly can't decide where they rank exactly. Are they necessary to handle all the systems that the game requires? Maybe. But in a world that's focused on accessibility more than ever, there's almost none of it going on here. There's no options for different control schemes and you can't bind your own buttons. It should also be noted that the Nintendo Switch is also now the only active platform with no form of accessibility controller available or on the horizon. Tears of the Kingdom is likely to produce some of the most phenomenal ideas and gameplay clips you're going to see for a long time to come, because the depth of its world and systems offers something pretty incredible to those who get really stuck in and toy around with what it offers. It's definitely something special, not just from a gaming experience point of view, but as a technical achievement. Thinking over all these points has led me to the conclusion that maybe Breath of the Wild really was the limit that a lot of people are comfortable pushing to when it comes to strange controls and systems that let you be creative with your environment. And I've met a lot of people who really just couldn't find a groove with Breath of the Wild and bailed on it after just a short while. Tears of the Kingdom is even more complex, and its insanely impressive creative systems means that it asks a lot more from the player. I got a magnificent voice note from What's Good's very own Kelly Stretch, which I want to play for you. It isn't just great because it offers such a different view to all the high scoring reviews from someone who's new to these new Zeldas, but also because the way it was recorded makes it sound like a 2 a.m. phone call from a hotel room in a 90s crime documentary.
Here's what Kelly had to say on that fateful night.
With Zelda, you go from something that's top down and pretty simple, like // move away, find a rupee out, to a 3-layer map with different towns that are 700 kilometers from each other, and you can use 50 different core abilities, and your weapons break, and it's just, I
both agree and disagree with Kelly. I found the controls incredibly frustrating at times and constantly find myself confused or hitting the wrong inputs, but at the same time, I also enjoy a lot of what Tears of the Kingdom has to offer. The creation stuff is fun, the puzzles are amazing, and the way they've expanded on the existing map from the first game, it works well, despite feeling like it really would have been better if the game had a whole new map to match its whole new price tag. I also took note of something from the Jimquisition's review, who also gave it a 7 out of 10, but they said, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is indeed a game with two faces, one welcoming and the other viciously hostile. And I have to agree, maybe this is a 10 out of 10 game. It's just not a 10 out of 10 game for everyone, but instead only for Zelda fans that also loved Breath of the Wild. For everyone else, and especially those that haven't played Breath of the Wild before, or indeed any Zelda, it's not a given which side you might get after you toss your coin its way.
Let's go!
Tears of the Kingdom is huge, it's bold, it's creative, it's so brilliant.
Link.
I just don't think it's for everyone. That's the end of our video on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. What do you think? Are you playing it? Are you enjoying it? How do you feel about them and Breath of the Wild as well? Leave a comment below and tell us what you think. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button to let us know. If you want to see more reviews, subscribe to our channel. There's still some great games coming this year. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.